So this is a special night here, and with a special another treasure, Armenian treasure.
Now, hey John, do this. Hey John,
The father and the son. Welcome to California.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here today. I understand that it's going to be a nice affair, and what can I say except thank you for asking us to say a few words. I'll turn the microphone to my son Ara. He's a much better speaker than I am.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Where this Dikranagerd accent came, is your parents where you learned from them? And where your parents came from? Because
Right. Well, that I can answer very easily. Yes, both of my parents.
Now I want to talk.
Oh. Both of my parents, yes, were from Dikranagerd. They're Khalis, Hulis, I think, and Dikranagerdsis. I was born in France, in Paris, and in the house, that's all we spoke with the Dikranagerdsi language, which is the only language that I knew until I was about maybe 7, 8 years old. Then I realized that there is also another Armenian language, if you will, and I went to school, Armenian school, and I started learning I don't want to say the proper Armenian, but the more classical Armenian per se. So that's where my Dikranagerdsi background comes. Speaking Dikranagerdsi language is absolutely normal to me. I can change from one to the other without any thought whatsoever. Voila.
now, is your parents, they were refugees or orphans, or what is their...
Well, like every Armenian, whether they were from Dikranagerd, Urfa, Erzurum, or whatever. Of course, they were from there. They end up in Beirut, or some of them in Haleb, and from Haleb, obviously, my parents chose France. And actually, that's where they got married, and that's where we were born. So yes, they were refugees, and the French government took them just like normal people here in America, the ancestors in America.
So then you moved to U.S.
Right, from France, we moved to the U.S. in 1946, actually, right after the war, for the simple reason that my father had two sisters that from the time of the genocide, where my father ended up in France, the two sisters, one directly to America, the other one in Cuba. And obviously, this is the standard journey, it seems, of so many Armenians. And the fact that there was the Second World War, otherwise we would have come to America. My father would have been close to his sisters before the war, but we could not come because of the Second World War. And soon as the Second World War was finished, then he decided that it was time for us, the four of us, including my sister, Arpine, to move back to this country, to be close to, obviously, to my father, two sisters. And voila, that's...
Okay. All right, Ara, introduce yourself.
I'm Onnik's son.
Really?
That's all you need to know.
So, actually, I'm going to go back to you. At what point in your life, you knew that this is something, that this music or singing, you want to do this?
I don't know if there is a particular time, but it seems that like so many Armenian families, it was a thing for us to go to church on Sundays. And the fact that we were living in Paris, and sure enough, there was a beautiful Armenian church there. And we used to go to the Armenian church on Sundays. somehow that music, the sharagans, the choir, the I love to hear it. And even some days when my parents couldn't go to church on that particular Sunday, I would make my day would have not been complete unless I went to church. So by myself, right, by myself, I used to go to church. And gamatz, I love the sound. I wanted to be a singer just like those singers in the choir because
But what age was that?
Oh, I was maybe 8 years old, 9 years old. Yes, that particular time, and somehow I thought that I wasn't just like any kid that loved baseball, for instance. They all think that they want to be Babe Ruth and whatever. I thought that I want to be Shah Muradian, because we had one record of him singing Hayastan and so on. And I thought that, yes, that's what I want to be. Kid dreams, so many things, and that's how it started, and I continued on. My very first solo, if you will, was 2 weeks before we came to America. My father went to the Armenian church, gave a pretty nice donation, and asked for the choir master, is it possible for Onnik to sing one verse, one little part of the Armenian Sharagan? And I guess that donation made the thing. And sure enough, that particular Sunday, the choir master, which we were revered person, like, said, okay, one verse of, I think it was the Rohor Meow or something. I don't really remember that, but I did, and he pointed like this, like, you did all right, with his hand, That was the beginning of, and I thought,
We all have something like that.
maybe we do.
That's
And
why I wanted to know.
exactly. Well, mine was that, and of course, one thing leads to another over here in America. Again, in church, starting to go to church on Sunday, I had to take 2 buses and walk quite a bit in order to attend church on Sundays. And I continued a small little something. The choir master of the church where we were, the first time I put a shabik on and went right in. And after, when the church was finished, he asked me, Tun urderenes, in Armenian. I said, well, from France. Hayeren Ghosis, and so on. He said, ha. Instead of saying ayo in Armenian, Dikranagerd sees quickly, he says, ha. I said, Tun Dikranagerd sees? Because of that one word. He said, yes. I said, yes, the Diyarbakir see him, So we became very, very close. End up to be that we became also blood brothers, if you will. One Sunday we cut our fingers in church with a razor blade, and we put the things together, and the priest blessed us, and we became then blood brothers, simply because of that one word, ha, instead of ayo, as Dikranagerd background, supposedly, to come back to that. Voila, that's it.
So, Anna, were you born here?
I was born here. I should mention that my father, the story he just told, that person is Armen Babamyan, who passed away a few years ago, but it's very important to mention his name. Yes, I'm born here, so, but of course it doesn't matter where you're born, it just matters who you are and where you've come from.
So when was your kicking time when you thought, this is what I want to do, or this is my,
Well, because I was raised in the house headed by Onnik Dinkjian, I don't think there was any other choice but to go with music. So because that's what I heard every day of my life.
So house environment.
It was all in the house, exactly. Yeah.
But you're amazing, like the instrument you use, it's so He is good in singing. You are good in instrument. You know, it's just.
I must say better. I must add better.
Well, I think we're very blessed to have music in our lives because it unites people, and we're proud to be part of that.
So, do you guys travel quite a bit? Do this music?
Well, here we are in California together. Yes, we've been all over the world together. Yes.
So,
Next week we'll be somewhere else.
where are you gonna be next week?
Next week we're going to be in St. Louis
Oh wow!
for a concert of actually sacred music, sharagans. Yeah.
When his brother came from Lebanon, I was looking for your CDs, so we went and bought for him, and it was some of them was like you were in Diyarbakir doing it.
Yeah, like I said, well, we've been all over the world. Yeah, the story is the genocide expelled the Armenians from their ancient homelands, and people like my father kept the songs alive in the diaspora, and 100 years later, they asked us to come back and bring those songs back to where they started.
So you went there and did the concert in Diyarbakir.
Yeah.
In April of 2015, if you can imagine that.
That's amazing.
Yes.
How was the reception in there?
Well, they welcomed us back home. Of course, they're mostly Kurds and Turks. There are no Armenians left there.
So you never met Armenian there?
Well, there's a few. Many of them don't speak Armenian. Many of them have been Turkified. Yeah, there are no Armenians left there practicing Armenians, you know.
So there's mostly it's Kurd.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank
Thanks
you.
for giving this
Pleasure.
opportunity. Thank you.
Հոգիս վգալին
kez gudan Hey can Yerevan Ayredik dudim Hey can Kasrik Yerevan Hey can Kasrik Yerevan Yerevan sireliz Tu misht al-sasam Շրջավարված ունիս այգի Հուրաստան Օդն ու ջուրդ կախսր միրգդ աննման Ով չի սիրում քեզի հայ չէ իսկական Հեյ ջան Երևան այրերեք դուրին Հեյ ջան Արարատյան քինիով հաջակներ լցնեն շիշով խորովածը լավաշով ուդեն քո գենացը Անահիտ կոնել քնարիկ ջան ծեր գենացը աշոտ կենամ կոնել քեվորդ ջան Hey can Yerevan Ayredik dudim Hey can Kasrik Yerevan Hey can Kasrik Yerevan Asi verşin dunne So I really want to hear that hymn Yekoryes gmernem That's what it is. It's going to happen someday, so if it does, Hayastan Dare, Araradian Tashte, Tiagis Avet, Soch, Koch, Dudugnere, Hedis Teretse, and Ashara Kef Bidanem, in Setra Metse. Now, hey, John, Yerevan, ayredik dudim. Hey, John, Kasrik Yerevan. Hey, John, Kasrik Yerevan. I'm going to report. I want to say they were maybe very close to you guys, but thank you very much for joining. I certainly appreciate it.